Have you ever had a young man pursue you whom you did not want to date? Some of you going, yeah, and he's sitting next to me right now.
Frank was asked this really tough question, so make sure to watch till the end because I have a Bible verse that will tie all of this together. Let's get right into it.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hi, Frank. My name is James. I have a couple questions for you. If you can get through both of them.
Sure, go ahead.
That'd be great. If death entered the world through one man and it was all encompassing, and eternal life entered the world through one man, Jesus, then why would it be exclusive?
What do you mean exclusive?
I believe what's meant by exclusive is why is it only available to, I guess, people who accept it?
Because God's not going to force anybody into heaven against their will. In fact, maybe a little story will help with this. A number of years ago, I was at the University of Michigan debating an atheist by the name of Eddie Tabash, and during the debate he asked me a question. He said, Frank, my mother was a survivor of the Holocaust. She lived a life full of pain and suffering. Toward the end of her life, someone offered her the gospel, but then she died. Is she in hell right now? So I said, Eddie, I don't know where your mother is now. I don't know if she had a deathbed conversion or not, but if she didn't accept Christ before she died, then Christ or God is too loving to force her into heaven against her will. Because what's the assumption behind the question? The assumption behind the question is that everybody wants to be in heaven. That's not true. Who's in heaven? Jesus is in heaven. There have been people running from Jesus their entire lives. What's he going to do in the afterlife? Hey, where are you going? You're with me now. No. You say, well, what's all this business about hell then? Well, I asked a question of the University of Michigan audience. I'll ask the question here of the Boise State audience. It's a question for the ladies. Ladies, have you ever had a young man pursue you whom you did not want to date? Some of you going, yeah, and he's sitting next to me right now. He will not leave me alone. Whenever I ask that question, the ladies always giggle and the men look at their shoes. She looking at me right now? Well, ladies, suppose he keeps asking you out, and you finally say, look, I like you, but only as a friend. Oh, ladies, why don't you just stick the knife in and turn it? Every man has heard the dreaded friend rejection. Gentlemen, if you ever get the dreaded friend rejection, move on. She's not interested. In fact, I have some shocking news for you. She doesn't even like you as a friend. Ladies, am I right? Yeah? You're just trying to be nice, aren't you? But you don't like him as a friend, because if you did, you'd be interested, but you're not. But suppose this doesn't deter the guy. He keeps asking, and he finally says, look, I love you so much, I'm going to force you to love me. Can he do that? No. Run, screaming from the building. He can't force you to do that. If he truly did love you, what would he do? He would leave you alone. That's what God does for us. He sends us cards, letters, and flowers. He sends us creation. He sends us conscience. He sends us Christ. He sends us the Bible. If you're in a far-off land as a Muslim and you want to know the truth, God may give you a dream or a vision. That's all over the Muslim lands now. But if you keep saying no, 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 no to that, God is going to give you up to your own desires. He's going to...
I've never heard it explained like that. A boy trying to pursue a girl. That's so interesting. So good. Have you guys heard of that before? Obviously I've heard of God's not going to force you to go anywhere that you don't want to go. And if you're not living for God on earth, why would you want to live with God in heaven? That's what it's all about. Hell is separation from God.
Leave you alone, because that's what God does. Just like that man pursuing you. If he were to love you, he would leave you alone because you don't want him. So that's what God ultimately does. He leaves us alone. And Paul says this in Romans chapter 1. He says, if you suppress the truth long enough about God, God will give you up to your own desires to the point that you have a futile mind and you're cheering on other people who are doing evil. Notice our culture right now. They're cheering on people who are doing evil. You say, well, what could be so bad about being separated from God? Because that's what hell is. Well, I want you to realize that everybody, whether they're a Christian or not, gets some of the common grace of God. His rain falls on the just and the unjust. We all experience love, hope for a future, relationships, whether we're Christians or not. But I want you to imagine a place where there is no love, where there is no hope, where there is no future, where there are no relationships, where there's just stone, cold, narcissistic self-absorption. That is Washington. No, that is hell. You're cut off from the ultimate source of goodness by your own choice. And so as C.S. Lewis put it, in the end, there's only two kinds of people. Those who say to God, thy will be done, and those to whom God says, thy will be done. God is going to separate himself. It is open to everybody, but not everybody wants it. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
All right, Romans chapter 1, verse 18 through 20 says, "But God shows his anger from heaven against all sinful, wicked people who suppress the truth by their wickedness. They know the truth by God because he has made it obvious to them. For ever since the world was created, people have seen the earth and sky through everything God made. They can clearly see his invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature, so they have no excuse for not knowing God." So it's saying God has revealed himself to all people, to all creation. So guys, if you've been rejecting God, I encourage you to go to him today. Know that he loves you and know that he's longing to have a relationship with you. Life without him is meaningless. Life without him is hopeless. Frank said, narcissistic nature, only thinking about themselves. So go to God today. He loves you. Please comment down below whatever your thoughts are on this. I would love to hear them, whatever that might be. And thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked this video and subscribe. I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So I would love for you to come along this journey. I love and appreciate you all for being with me. It makes all the difference in the world. So thank you guys so much. And also, you might like this video here.